As you can see, I have grafted a small isolinear tag onto the tip of the Nerf bullet. This tag, when activated by a pressure greater than that of wind resistance, will create a tiny rip in the space-time continuum, causing a phase variance. This, of course, will allow both the bullet and the causer of the pressure to pass through the invisible barrier between worlds.
What?
Interdimensional transports.
Ow! What?
Do try not to be such an imbecile. You did not understand a word of what I just said, did you?
Not a word.
Hello and welcome to Crowforest Reviews. Today we're going to be talking about Equestria Girls. Now I know what you're all wondering, at least the ones of you who have managed to stop screaming in terror at the sight of them. Didn't they used to be ponies? What the hell happened? And you are quite right. They did used to be ponies. As for what the hell happened? Well, that's not an entirely easy question to answer, so bear with me. See, the funny thing about Equestria Girls is that it doesn't actually take place in Equestria. You could make the argument that this is an alternate version of Equestria and that this is some kind of bizarre Elseworld story, but here's the thing. It isn't. And before you get all huffy in the comments section, let me explain. Equestria is the land of the ponies, the land of the equines. The word Equestria comes from the word equine, the Latin word for horse. If this was an alternate version of Equestria, then they would still be ponies. But they aren't. Instead, they're shown as humans. In human world. In a kind of humanestria, if you will. It's okay if you won't, I won't. Anyway, the point is, it just seems like such an odd artistic choice to change the most fundamental aspect of that world. Especially when your world was so unique and appealing, and now it's just so generic and boring. So why would they do this if no one wanted to see this? Well, let's talk about high school AUs. High school AU, for those of you who don't know, stands for High School Alternate Universe. And it refers to the phenomenon in fan fiction where, for whatever reason, the author takes some popular characters from a franchise and says, you know what would be really funny? If they were all in high school. Is it actually funny? Well, no, not typically anyway. But the thing about high school AUs is that, like everything else, they have a wide range of quality, ranging from the surprisingly good on one hand to the downright awful on the other hand. On the one end of the spectrum, we have the Emperor's New School. And on the other end of the spectrum, we have Equestria Girls. Where do I even start with this one? Well, how about at the beginning? The movie starts out with Twilight and her friends in the Crystal Empire, where Twilight is about to take part in a princess summit. Twilight tells her friends that she is indeed excited about the summit, but that the stress of it is just really getting to her because it's just another thing to deal with on top of all the other new changes in her life, giving us this much needed scene.
Haven't really gotten accustomed to these yet, either.
This is a very welcome sequence after the very jarring end of season 3. It's almost enough to make me forget that I'm watching a crappy spin-off movie. So anyway, after meeting with the other princesses in the throne room, we get our opening credits, which start out nice enough, but then, much like the movie itself, they start to suck. So after that bit of foreshadowing of things yet to suck, we're introduced to our villain, a mysterious cloaked unicorn mare. She sneaks into Twilight's bedroom in the middle of the night to steal Twilight's crown, seeking of course to possess the power of the element of harmony contained within. She makes the switch with a worthless copy and is about to get away when she's foiled by the quick thinking of the resident unconscious baby dragon. Spike inadvertently trips the mare, alerting Twilight and the others to her presence, and they all chase after her. They corner her at an old mirror, but her sudden stop causes the crown to fly out of her saddlebag and into the mirror. The mare quickly follows suit and jumps through the mirror after the crown. The next morning, Twilight and her friends tell Celestia what happened, and Celestia exposits that the intruder of the night before was her former protege, a clever and powerful mare by the name of Sunset Shimmer. Sunset Shimmer had been a good and faithful student to Celestia, but Celestia was forced to let her go when it became clear that she had been corrupted by her lust for power and dark magics, and so Sunset Shimmer fled to a parallel world. Wow, this is actually a really good setup for a villain. Sunset Shimmer is essentially a dark Twilight Sparkle. In fact, although it isn't explicitly stated here, it's likely that Sunset Shimmer would have been in line to become the fourth princess of Equestria had she not been turned away by Celestia. If this is the case, then she likely feels that the crown is hers by right, and that she was merely reclaiming what was stolen from her. In fact, it's even possible that she is entirely correct in that assessment. We only have Celestia's word that she dismissed Sunset Shimmer after she went to the dark side, and Celestia has not always been the best of judges on that particular matter. But then, I'm not even sure why I'm bothering to speculate into the backstory of a villain that we all know is not destined for great things. Anyway, Celestia leads them to the mysterious mirror from the night before, and Luna exposits that it is no ordinary mirror, but rather a gateway to other dimensions. Wow, a gateway to other dimensions! Just think of the possibilities! They can dimension hop to other versions of Equestria and have all kinds of wacky adventures, and learn friendship lessons from the other versions of themselves along the way.
What if you could find brand new worlds right here on Earth, where anything is possible?
I found the gateway!
How do they screw it up? Celestia tells Twilight that she must enter the parallel world and retrieve the element of harmony before the gateway closes the following night. And so, Twilight and her friends step up to go through the mirror.
I'm afraid I can't let you go. Sending all of you could upset the balance of this alternate world.
Bullshit detected. Take precautions.
No. Just no. There is absolutely no reason for this. Here they have a really cool setup for Twilight and her friends to go traveling through the multiverse together, and they aren't even going to use it? Why? Because their presence there might upset the balance of other universes? Bullshit! If the universe's balance is that precarious, then Twilight's presence alone will be more than enough to upset it. And what about the friendship lessons from the previous 3 seasons? Now you're just saying, ditch your friends, they're not important? What kind of a lesson is that? And finally, how the hell do you justify sending someone into a war zone without backup? Especially your students. But to this movie's very little credit, that is an in-character thing for Celestia to do. So anyway, after that lengthy paragraph of ranting, Twilight steps through the mirror, leaving her friends behind. But then, before anyone can stop him, Spike runs after her and jumps through the mirror himself. Are you seriously trying to tell me that he was the only one to run after Twilight? No one else even tried? They're all prepared to follow Twilight to the ends of Equestria, and even into the embrace of death itself, but they won't follow her to another world just because Celestia told them not to. Well, I guess Celestia is pretty intimidating, but oh well. Maybe Twilight and Spike are going into the new world by themselves, but it's still a portal to a new Equestria. This is still a really cool setup.
Spike, you're not supposed to. Spike, are you a dog?
What the hell?
I have no idea what you are.
Huh?
A Bratz doll. Why the hell is Twilight a Bratz doll? And why the hell are they different species in the first place? That's not how interdimensional sliding works! Though, to be fair, that would have been an interesting twist in the show Sliders. So, Brett's doll Twilight wiggles her newly formed fingers in front of her face, and she wonders, along with the audience, just what in the hell they are and why in the hell they are a thing. But there's no time for speculation. Twilight has to retrieve the crown before it's too late. Twilight dashes off on all fours with Spike on her back, but Spike points out a human walking his dog and speculates that they are not traveling in an altogether socially acceptable manner. Twilight rapidly gets to her feet, mimicking the posture that she sees the human take, but she finds that her legs are very unsteady, not having been designed to work in such a manner.
Not want to be like this for longer than I have to.
Well, look on the bright side. You don't have those pesky wings to worry about anymore.
Well, I suppose that was the only way to make the process of sprouting wings seem like it really wasn't all that weird. And wait a minute. Why doesn't she have wings? And a horn? I mean, they look kind of weird on her human form, but they're kind of fundamental aspects of her. How can she even do magic now?
My magic isn't working.
Makes sense. You don't exactly have your horn.
What?
You know, I actually kind of like Brat's doll Twilight. She has all the right reactions. Twilight and Spike make it to the building, and Twilight finally gets a good look at herself in the glass of a trophy case. But before she has time to fully take it all in, the school bell rings and the hallways are instantly packed with high school students. Twilight is shoved aside and she falls into some lockers, where she sees...
Whoa! You okay?
Just what in the hell is Josh Mankey doing here?
Oh, Josh Mankey.
Mankey.
So after that pointless cameo, we get a brief song number, which thankfully has the effect of getting most of the awkwardness of living in a new world out of the way in the span of 30 seconds. After that, we meet Fluttershy. And here's where we start a game I like to call Let's Remake the First Episode.
My name's Twilight. I'm Fluttershy. Sorry, what was that? It's Fluttershy. I'm Twilight Sparkle. What's your name? I'm Fluttershy. Didn't quite catch that.
So, plagiarism aside, we learned that not Fluttershy found the crown, and she turned it into Principal Celestia, mistaking it for the homecoming crown. Oh, Principal Celestia. That is just painful to say. So Twilight decides that the best way to get the crown back is to enter the contest and become homecoming princess.
Well, if you do need anything else, my door is always open.
Well, that's Celestia for you.
My door is always open.
So all Twilight has to do is become the princess of the fall formal dance.
I'll have to become Princess of the Canterlot High Fall Formal.
How exactly do you plan on doing that?
I have no idea.
It's like she knows the script is stupid and she's just going with it. Twilight informs Fluttershy of her plan to become Princess of the Fall Formal, but Fluttershy objects, pointing out that Twilight has virtually no chance of winning the popular vote, and even trying to win the popular vote would be dangerous considering the competition. But Twilight declares that she won't let that stop her.
Not if I can help it. So, where would I find the head of the party planning committee?
Good attempt, but there's really no saving face after something like that. So Twilight goes to meet with the head of the party planning committee, who, of course, turns out to be Pinkie Pie. And you know what that means. Welcome to round 2 of Let's Remake the First Episode.
I'm brand new here. Ooh. Hello?
So Twilight signs her name, realizing a tad late that she probably shouldn't use her mouth for the expedients. And get ready for round 3, because Applejack comes in to fulfill that very purpose. Applejack gives Twilight the same warning as Fluttershy about not going up against Sunset Shimmer, but Twilight still doesn't seem overly concerned.
Thanks for the advice, Applejack.
Hey, how'd you know my name was Applejack?
Oh, hey, look at the time. I have to go, iron my dog. Come on, Spike, that means you! Sunset Shimmer learns about Twilight competing for the crown, and she goes to confront Twilight in a poorly lit corridor, mostly so that she can deliver this half-assed Scooby-Doo parody.
Should've known Princess Celestia would send her prized pupil here after my crown. And her little dog, too.
Was that really necessary? Sunset Shimmer continues to taunt Twilight, telling her that she doesn't know the first thing about fitting in, and Twilight decides that she needs to do something about that. And you know what that means? It's time for a training montage. Twilight style.
We need to do some research. This place has a school. I have to believe it's got a library.
Even that had to be interrupted with Twilight not knowing how to fit in. Who does that? Anyway, after that, Twilight and Spike go up to the loft, where Spike has set up a makeshift bed out of books. The next morning, Twilight enters the school from the outside for some reason, and she exposits to Spike about how today is the day that she is going to have to win over all of her fellow classmates.
Time to make a good first impression on my fellow students. The whole world sort of depends on it.
No pressure or anything. But never mind about that for a minute. We need to take a break for round 4.
Perfect! Oh, yes, this is good. Too green. Too yellow. Too poofy. Not poofy enough. Now go on, my dear. You would...
Wow, they're not even trying with this one. So anyway, Twilight's not Ponyville friends gather together to give her the bad news that troll videos do in fact exist in this world. It turns out that this universe's Snips and Snails videotaped Twilight's training montage and posted it all over YouTube, or whatever tube. And now everyone in the entire school has seen it. So they come up with a plan to make everyone forget about the video and accept Twilight anyway. So Twilight mends the broken friendships of all her friends, and now they're ready to win over the school. Oh, did I not mention their broken friendships? That's because it's stupid and we're moving on. And speaking of ignoring stupid stuff, let's just pretend this little exchange never happened.
Always trying to make a big splash around here, cause my drink kinda splashed on the ground.
So what exactly are they going to do? Maybe Rarity has a suggestion.
Now, this may be an absolutely preposterous idea, but what if we all wore these as a sign of unity?
Yes, that does sound like a preposterous idea. Thanks for noticing. Admittedly, wearing ponytails and pony ears as a way of showing support and solidarity for a candidate who comes from a world of ponies is a rather clever idea with layers of meaning and symbolism and crap, but Rarity doesn't know that. Also, Wondercolts? Really? So of course, they do Rarity's idea, leading to this sequence. What the hell am I looking at? Well, I think it's clear why they went with ponytails and pony ears. Clearly the animators just really wanted to make a movie about ponies. But then, why not just make a movie about ponies? I mean, you went out of your way to not make a movie about ponies. So the song number had the effect of instantly converting the entire school to Twilight's side, which normally I would call bullshit on, but hey, maybe they were all just really tired of Sunset Shimmer. Sunset Shimmer, feeling threatened, decides to wreck the dance floor and frame Twilight for it, giving a poorly photoshopped picture to Vice Principal Luna as evidence. Vice Principal Luna? Oh, that's even worse! But fortunately, Josh Mankey is there to clear her name. Why the hell does he get that role? Anyone could have done that! So Monkey asks Twilight to the dance, but she turns him down in a truly epic way.
No! I can't. The portal. That'll be too late.
One no would have been fine.
So now we come to the awkward part where Twilight has to reveal her true identity to all her new friends. But in a surprising twist, Pinkie Pie beats her to it.
You see,
You're from an alternate world and your pony princess there. The crown actually has a magical element embedded in it that helps power other magical elements. Without it, they don't work anymore. You need them to help protect your magical world. And if you don't get the crown tonight, you'll be stuck in this world and won't be able to get back for like a really, really long time.
how did you know all that?
Just a hunch.
So everything seems to be resolved. Oh, except for that pesky destroyed dance floor thing. But oh well, one song number ought to mend that.
We'll get it ready by tonight.
Say, you know what we haven't had enough of yet? Songs! Let's have another one right after that one.
This is our big night.
So Mankey asks Twilight to the dance again. Some jerks just can't take no for an answer. And this time, Twilight gives in to peer pressure, or possibly Stockholm Syndrome, and accepts. I'd like to think that was deliberate. So the winner of the contest is announced, and of course it's Twilight. But Sunset Shimmer isn't going to let a little thing like that get in her way. Sunset Shimmer has her goons kidnap Spike, forcing Twilight and her friends to chase him outside. Once they're there, Sunset Shimmer tells Twilight that if she doesn't hand over the crown, she will destroy the portal.
Give me the crown, and you can go back to Equestria tonight. Or keep it and never go home.
Wait a minute, that won't work. The hammer will just go right through the portal. Who does she think she's gonna fool with that? Well, Twilight, apparently. Twilight refuses to give up the crown, and so they play a brief game of keep away. But Sunset Shimmer eventually gets the crown, and she transforms into... So she's a mythical creature of darkness who prefers to take on the form of a high school student so that she can repeat the same grade over and over again for all eternity. Hate to break it to you, writers, but I think you got the wrong Twilight.
I am your princess now, and you will be loyal to me!
Well, that's a great way of inspiring loyalty. Also, just a side note, but why the hell was the Wilhelm scream in there? I mean, no one was falling or anything. Anyway, Sunset Shimmer reveals that she was only bluffing about destroying the portal. I know, big shock. And that she wants to take over Equestria. You know, the real one, not this piece of crap. So anyway, Sunset Shimmer tries to destroy Twilight and her friends, but they survive through some Deus Ex bullcrap explanation that worked much better in the Season 4 finale, and they defeat her.
The magic of friendship.
Power of friendship compels you, bitches.
Wait, why the hell does Twilight still have wings? And why the hell doesn't she have a horn?
Those are my girls! Woohoo!
Did that dog just talk? Whoa, weird.
And why the hell does this idiot think that a talking dog is the weirdest thing in all of this?
Seriously? The talking dog is the weird thing about all this?
And so, the movie finally comes to an end, with one final song number.
This is our big night.
Wait. Isn't the portal closing like any second now? Do they really have time for this? So Twilight finally goes back through the portal, and we finally see her actual real friends. And then, finally, just as it's all wrapping up, we see what it's all been building up to.
Oh, we've got to stop bumping into each other like this.
Josh Mankey Pony. Really? Really? You're going to bring him into this universe? No! No, 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 no! I know I said I was going to ignore this idiot, but this movie has forced my hand. I simply have no choice. I have to rant about this. Okay, first of all, this is completely at odds with Twilight's character from the show. She never expressed any interest whatsoever in romance or anything of the kind. In fact, at the Grand Galloping Gala, it was Rarity who was doing all the shameless flirting. Whereas Twilight thought that it would be a better use of her time to spend the evening with her teacher and try to get some study tips. And given this, I think that it's safe to assume that Twilight falls somewhere in the aromantic spectrum. So this whole thing with Josh Mankey just really comes out of left field. And second of all, what the hell were you thinking making Twilight fall in love with the first guy she sees after going through the portal? Even aside from the fact that love at first sight is a complete bullshit concept that only exists in bad movies, he's a different species. What the hell? And as for the Josh Mankey pony in real Equestria, that really doesn't help matters any. In fact, it makes it worse. Only now, instead of an interspecies relationship, we have a completely one-sided relationship, wherein one party perceives an ongoing relationship, but the other party is unaware of any previous relationship at all. And you just made me use relationship 4 times in one sentence! And even aside from the whole Josh Mankey thing, there is just so much wrong with this movie. The title is an outright lie. It's called Equestria Girls, but it doesn't even take place in Equestria. And the villain! Where do I even start with the villain? How do you make a villain that cool go that lame? It just doesn't seem physically possible. Where was I? Oh, right, the final sum up. So that was Equestria, girls. How was it? Well, aside from the things I was just ranting about, it really isn't that bad. The whole becoming human thing could certainly have been handled a lot worse, and there are some good ideas here, even if they aren't ever followed up on. And despite the bizarre new character designs, we do still get some nice animation, especially in the opening sequence. But even in Human World, some of the animation is still really nice, if a little questionable. So overall, it's not great, but there are certainly worse movies out there.
Seriously?
What?
You've been entirely too positive on this show, but that's about to change.
I believe you have my swords.